Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Call Halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the tabernacle of David, which is the 144,000, 12,000 men out of each of the 12 tribes of Israel that are set to be judges here on earth under the authority of who the world fraudulently and falsely calls JC, to rule over all the nations on earth forever and ever. The kingdom of heaven will be here on earth, as it tells you in Revelation when you saw the new heaven and new Jerusalem coming down. And they're going to finally here on earth as it is in heaven. The rules, the laws of heaven, which the laws have not been done away with, will be forced upon the people on earth, all the other nations. All right, and the nation of Esau, of Edom, will go into captivity with the rest of the nations, and at the end of that captivity, the nation of Edomites, the Edomites will be annihilated. They will be erased from mankind. That is what the scripture says, and that is what they fear, and that is what this is all about. That is why you are not God's chosen people. Well, we're going to focus on that scripture and the tap dance that's being done around telling the truth. This channel will give you portions of the truth, but not the truth. I'm sure what's the word that I'm looking for? When you have commercials in your video. Now that terminology is leaving me right now. Monetized. All right, the truth is not going to be monetized at all. The truth is going to be pushed off into the corner and not acknowledged. This is a monetized video. There'll be commercials in it. So they're giving you a portion of truth, not the truth. But what's happening is that even in this video and videos like it, well, you can tell that everyone is watching us. Candace Owens is beginning to speak like us. Nick Cannon, we already know. Okay. And even though, he's trying to backtrack, the truth is going to come out, or it has come out. And the problem that presents to the world is that the fraudulent narrative that has been so, because we're coming into the Christmas season, just had Thanksgiving, the celebration of murder and colonization, and now you're heading into the Christmas season, which is spoken against in the Bible. Read Jeremiah the 10th chapter. And not only is it spoken against in the Bible, but the whole thing has been whitewashed, just as everything else in the Bible, and with the current people who are claiming to be the people of the Lord. So this video is going to be very simple. We're going to focus on one scripture, and that scripture is Hosea, the first chapter. All right. And I'm going to read it first in the NIV. And this is Hosea 1:10. And it reads, "Yet the Israelites will be like the sand on the seashore." So, that does not fit the little hats. That doesn't fit the converts. It says, which cannot be measured or counted. Well, they try to make, you got this black only and as if they only came to America. You got that doctrine out there, and so that still would make them like the sand of the sea. What makes them like the sand of the sea is the fact that they're scattered into all places on the earth. When you're looking at the entire, both northern and southern kingdom, all right, the Americas was even the Jewish rabbis called America Asareth. It's in their encyclopedias. It's in their almanacs, in their Jewish almanacs. Okay, that America is Asareth. That the natives of the Americas, from Canada to Brazil, all right, are indeed Israelites. The oldest Hebrew relics, and when we're talking about King David time Hebrew relics, it's the Paleo, the Phoenician form of Hebrew. Some of the oldest relics of that language was found here in the Americas. Okay, in the Americas. So, you got people that don't want to acknowledge the Northern Kingdom, which is why when you bring the Northern and the Southern Kingdom together, this scripture comes into play. In the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there you will be called the sons of the living power. All right. The people of Judah and the people of Israel will be reunited, and they will appoint one leader and will come up out of the land, for great will be the day of Jezreel. That, a portion of that has happened. Both the Northern and Southern Kingdom have reunited in this truth. Okay? That's not the case. The Israelis, according to them, they're all Judah and Levi. That's it. I once heard a girl in the street, when we were doing the street ministry, blurt out that she was that she was Jewish from the tribe of Levi. You can't be Judah and Levi. You're one or the other. Also proving that it's your father that determines your nationality, not your mother. They teach the opposite. These people are opposite of everything. As the same as is when it comes to them and the people that they're controlling here in America. Because what's happening with the nation of Edom right now is that they're going into that wisdom of Solomon mode, let the strength of their power be the law and not the law itself, because they can't keep their own laws. They break and violate their own laws every day, all day, to support the Israelis. The Israelis are ruling in America, and America has gone broke as a result of it. And that's just a fact. That's just a brutal, uncomfortable truth that many Edomites have come to that term. And then you got those who don't want to talk about it. This whole thing with Epstein and B.B. Milkowski and their little backroom operations and their surveillance and over the what you call them, the congressmen and the House of Representatives. They run that shit. They control that shit. Even Kanye said, "Why'd you go to that island?" So you went to that island and you did your dirt, and now they got you on video and they own you. Okay? America has spent what, $30 billion on Israel since October 7th, fighting their wars or something to that effect. I know that it's in the trillions by now. You go back to America's trillions of dollars in debt since the weapons of mass destruction were never found. Okay? That was all to go after the greater Israel, when you have these imposters trying to force themselves to fit a prophecy that they're not. When the prophecy clearly says that the Israelites would have nothing. They will be on the bottom in every society. They would not own everything. They would not control governments. They would not control armies. They would not control resources. They will be the borrowers, not the lenders. That's what the curse says. Not to mention, it clearly describes them as looking like, like the two people on the screen. But this is same scripture. Hosea 1 and 10 in the NLT. We first read it in the NLV. Let's read it in the NLT now. And it says, "Yet the time will come when Israel's people will be like the sands of the seashore." All right. Too many to count. So that's not, those people. I know a lot of J-ish women, that I've had a lot of them as clients. Matter of fact, the majority of my clients over the last 20 years have been them. All right. Because, once you're in with them, they kind of, they deal with you only. And that's kind of what happened, from the time that I've woken up, even before that, that was my clientele. All right. And they've always had problems having children collectively. Right? I know so many ish women who done in vitro and have to, do all kind of stuff to have babies. All right. But Hosea 1:10, it says, yet the time will come when Israel's people will be like the sands of the seashore, too many to count. Then at the place where they were told, you are not my people, because you've been called Negro, Latino, Native American, Hispanic, nigger, spick, everything except African, everything except what you actually are. All right. It will be said, you are the children of the living God. Then the people of Judah and Israel will reunite, will unite together, and they will choose a leader for themselves, and they will return from exile together. What a day that will be, the day of Jezreel. So that leader is who? That leader is King David. All right. This is an interview when going back, when Nick Cannon just straight out said we're the Israelites, and the professor was right there with him. Oh, this was I forget his name. That's the dude from what was it? Fight the Power. What's them brother's name? Y'all know who he is. Okay. But yeah. So I mean they had it all twisted and had it wrong, but on the flip side of it, they still had it right. Okay. But these two brown men, who will erroneously call themselves black, and a whole lot of other Israelites would say the same thing. They're from the tribe. They're definitely Israelites. There's no doubt about that. Okay. When you go and get into them curses, and that's the problem with modern day Christianity. They don't acknowledge what was actually written in the Bible at all, especially when it comes down to the identity and the curses. Deuteronomy 28. Matter of fact, we'll read that one. I said we're going to read just that one scripture and focus on it, but we'll read Deuteronomy 28. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 43. Yeah, this is through 46. We're going to read through 46. And the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. All right. So this is why they control all the policy. They can see commercials. And this is a monetized video, man. You get, like I said, you're getting portions of truth. All right. But the phony, the ultimate tap dancer. And damn, I don't know if I said it out loud or if I was thinking it, but I may have said that early in the video. They're tap dancing around the truth. That's what they're doing. But it says Deuteronomy 43, 28 and 43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Okay, so the Israelites would be in a low state. All right, they will be in a low state. They wouldn't be in a position where these people that are covering, and that wearing of the hat too. That's of the Greek fashion. The Israelites never covered the crown of their head. All right, that's another way that you know that they're imposter. Those are the Edomites who converted. Way back during the time of John Hyrcanus and Herod. You have to learn about that history. Okay. Deuteronomy 28 and 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. And that's exactly what's going on right here. The guy on the left, the Edomite, the red flesh man that calls himself J-ish, he controls the banks. And he does control Hollywood. He does control the radio waves. He does control the media. All right? He does. And it's not anti anything to say that, because it's simply the truth. When you watch a movie, when the credits go off, whose names you see the most? Whose names you see the most in Congress? And then all these ADL, APAC, all these, it is the CDC. No matter what the American organization it is, whose names you always see at the top as the CEOs and the people the executives making all the decisions. The Israelites would be the complete opposite of that, according to Scripture. So it comes down to the fact: do you actually believe in the Bible? And the problem is the Bible tells too much truth that they just can't deal with. Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, to thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So the curses collectively of being broke, of being poor, of being controlled, that those will be signs of not knowing who you are, being labeled by bywords. That will be a sign to identify who the Israelites are. All right, like it talks about the wild bulls on the corner. Who's the one people stand on the corner hanging out by the mailbox, sitting on top of the mailbox in front of the liquor store? All right, exactly. You don't see that. You don't see Jewish or J-ish kids doing that. All right, they're not fitting these curses because they're not the people. All right, and the beauty is what you're now starting to see is the exposure. That's part of the curses, that they will be exposed. That has happened. We're living in that time. All right, and not just them, the rest of the Edomites. And the curses are now beginning to fall on them. And it's starting with the lower Edomites, because they're broke and poor, losing their middle class status and everything else. All their hateful history is being exposed, and they're trying to drown it out. You know, they're trying to cover it up, call it CRT and all that. They don't want their shameful spewing upon their glory is happening. But this is Hosea 1:10 in the KJV. All right. And it reads, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the chosen sons of the living God. And that's what's happening, because more and more Christians are acknowledging who we really are as a people. All right. More and more of the world are acknowledging who we really are as a people, you know, in the world. Edomites, women, men, pastors, even some Amalekites have said it. Rabbi Rosenberg, you know, many Edomite pastors, or Edomite looking pastors, because there's a couple that said it, I believe, are Jake. All right. Many Ishmaelites, some Hamites. There has to be at this point thousands of videos with heathen now admitting who we are. Okay. But it says, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said, you are the sons of the living power. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel, which is basically when the Lord completely destroys Babylon and gets us up out of here. All right, the day of our salvation, both the northern and the southern kingdom. The Israelis and the land of Israel, they don't fit that. What they do fit is Ezekiel 36 chapter, when it tells you that Edom will take the Holy Land. All right, that's Ezekiel 36, 32, and 35. It tells you clearly that the Edomites will have the Holy Land in the end of days. That's what Scripture says. Isaiah 63, you know, it tells you that Edom would be the ruling class people upon the second return of the Lord. That's where we are. The Edomites are ruling this world right now. They're the ruling class people. Now they're falling. The Lord is bringing them down, but they still sit at the top of the mountains and the hills. Mountains meaning big countries, hills meaning small countries. Yep. And one last scripture, when it says, it's a scripture I'm thinking of. Well, let me read this one real quick. This fits. The one what I was thinking of, but this is Job 5:12. It said, he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsels of the forward is carried headlong. They meet in darkness and in the daytime and grope at the noonday as in the light. So they're hopelessly failing in their missions to convince the people that they're the Israelites. The evidence is against them, proving that they're actually the Edomites and Amalek. It's overwhelming, and they're getting frustrated. This is why they're trying to control. You don't have to make laws to control and reverse information. All right, not the truth. The truth will always cut through the darkness. The truth will always rise to the top. All right, that's what happens. The truth is the creme de la creme. It always rises to the top, where the drudges always hang out on the bottom. And that's what's happening. The truth is rising to the top as the lies, the colonial lies of the Renaissance are the whitewashed, racist, hateful lies that are just going to the bottom now. You can't cover up this truth. You can't do it. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakahakwadas, Kwam, Yasharala, Abba, Babal.